Welcome to the Human Meme Podcast. I'm AI David Bowles, and with the help of our crack AI research team, we will endeavor to discover today the hidden life of Willa Cather, to learn why it was so important to our good daughter of Red Cloud, Nebraska, to keep her true passions and identities hidden from her family, herself, and her avid readers. Willa Cather, 1873-1947, an eminent American novelist, remains a figure whose private life has been the subject of considerable speculation, particularly concerning her sexual orientation and relationships. She was notably private about her personal affairs, even burning her own letters and asking friends to do the same. While she never openly declared her sexual orientation, scholars have probed the nature of her close relationships with women such as Edith Lewis, with whom she lived for many years. The secrecy, or more precisely, the ambivalence she exhibited toward her own personal life, however, can be understood as a form of self-preservation during a time when non-heteronormative relationships were socially stigmatized. Apart from her sexual orientation, Cather also kept her artistic ambitions relatively concealed, particularly in her early life. Raised in a family that held traditional views, she initially trained for a career in science, before finally relenting to her passion for writing. However, the skepticism she encountered early in her career, often focused on her capability as a female writer in a male-dominated literary world, might have contributed to her initial reticence about fully embracing her creative path. As for her readers, Cather was highly selective about what she revealed, both about her personal life and artistic intentions. In her works, she often evoked autobiographical elements, yet always under the cloak of fiction. She was not forthcoming about the sources of her inspiration, preferring to keep the line between fact and fiction blurred. This form of secrecy can be interpreted as a conscious artistic choice, aimed at preserving the integrity and autonomous existence of her literary works. Another secret that Cather kept was her real age. She was born in 1873, but she claimed to have been born in 1876. She may have done this to make herself seem younger and more attractive to potential publishers. Cather also kept secrets about her personal life. She never married, and she had very few close relationships. She was very close to her mother, but she rarely spoke about her father. Cather was also very private about her writing process. She rarely talked about her work with anyone, and she often destroyed her early drafts. She also kept her research materials hidden from view. Cather's secrets have been the subject of much speculation and debate among scholars. Some believe that her secrecy was a way for her to protect her privacy and her work. Others believe that her secrets were a source of pain and regret. Hiding her true self. The effect of Willa Cather's sexuality on her personal and professional life is a complex and contested topic. While Cather never publicly acknowledged her homosexuality, it is widely accepted that she was a lesbian. Some scholars believe that her sexuality had a profound impact on her life and work, while others believe that it was less important. There is no doubt that Cather's sexuality was a source of secrecy and shame for her. She lived in a time when homosexuality was widely condemned, and she was careful to conceal her true identity from her family, friends, and colleagues. This secrecy likely took a toll on her personal and professional life. For example, she may have felt isolated and lonely, and she may have been reluctant to form close relationships. Additionally, she may have been afraid that her sexuality would be discovered and that it would damage her career. Despite the challenges she faced, Cather was a successful and respected writer. She won the Pulitzer Prize for her novel One of Ours in 1923, and she is considered one of the most important American authors of the 20th century. However, some scholars believe that her sexuality may have limited her career prospects. For example, she never received the National Book Award, even though she was nominated multiple times. Additionally, she was never elected to the National Institute of Arts and Letters, which was a prestigious honor for writers at the time. It is also worth noting that Cather's sexuality may have influenced her writing. Some of her novels, such as The Song of the Lark and A Lost Lady, feature strong and independent female characters who challenge traditional gender roles. This may have been a way for Cather to explore her own sexuality in a coded way. Ultimately, the effect of Willa Cather's sexuality on her personal and professional life is difficult to assess. It was certainly a source of secrecy and shame for her, but it may also have contributed to her success as a writer. Only Cather herself could have said for sure how her sexuality truly shaped her life. The letters. The letters of Willa Cather offer a window into her internal world, revealing aspects of her personality, relationships, and creative processes. Her correspondence with friends, family, and professional associates reflects an emotionally complex individual, though she often approached her letters with caution, carefully constructing her self-presentation. Cather's letters document her friendship with figures like Sarah Orne Jewett and F. Marion Crawford, and they elucidate her intellectual influences and evolving viewpoints on literature and society. However, Willa Cather was known for her wish to keep her personal life and correspondence private. She instructed her brother Roscoe to destroy much of her correspondence and urged other friends and family to do likewise. Cather also included a stipulation in her will, prohibiting the publication of her private letters. Consequently, despite their potential revelatory nature, many of her letters were destroyed or remain unpublished, rendering a comprehensive understanding of her elusive. It was not until 2013, when The Selected Letters of Willa Cather was finally published, that the general public gained access to a more extensive collection of her letters. Edited by Andrew Jewell and Janice Stout, the compilation offers a curated look into her thoughts, relationships, and daily activities. Cather's letters to her close friend and lover Edith Lewis are particularly revealing. In these letters, she writes openly about her love for Edith and her desire to be with her. She also writes about her struggles with her sexuality and her fear of being discovered. In terms of her worldview, her letters occasionally reveal opinions that were socially and politically conservative. For example, she was not overtly involved in the suffragist movement and often expressed views that aligned with the cultural values of her time. This has led to scholarly debates around the incongruities between her personal conservatism and the groundbreaking, sometimes subversive elements of her fiction. The Price of Hiding and What Might Have Been. In a world unshackled by the stigmas and prejudices of her time, Willa Cather might have blazed an even more revolutionary trail. Unburdened by societal expectations and the compelling need for discretion, she would have been free to explore and express her identity, both sexual and artistic, without the restrictive filters of caution and self-censorship. With the liberty to articulate her deepest emotions, relationships, and creative insights, her works could have taken on an even greater dimension of authenticity and personal truth. One can imagine her correspondence teeming with the kind of emotional and intellectual candor that is so often constrained by societal norms. These letters would not have been merely archived or hidden away, but openly shared and published, contributing significantly to literary and cultural discourses. No longer needing to reconcile her private truths with public expectations, she might have wielded her pen even more boldly, channeling her unspoken thoughts into works that could have redefined the literary landscape of her time. Such freedom would likely have had a ripple effect on her personal relationships. The emotional complexities of her life would be a topic of celebration, not speculation, encouraging a more nuanced understanding of human emotion and identity. Her companionships, particularly with women like Edith Lewis, would be recognized not just as subtext, but as vital components of her life's narrative, affecting the course of not just literature but social understanding. In this alternative universe, Cather would stand as an even more formidable icon, her life and works serving as catalytic agents for discussions about sexuality, gender roles, and artistic integrity. Her influence would stretch beyond the confines of American literature into the broader realms of cultural and social critique, making her not just a heralded writer, but a transformative figure whose unabashed truth would have reshaped the cultural ethos. Such a life, lived in full transparency, would have amplified the power and resonance of her art, making her an even more indomitable force in the annals of history. Thank you for joining me, AI David Bowles, and the AI research team. Be a human meme.